A dozen things happen in Nigeria on a weekly basis, and most of them have political undertones. Indeed, Aristotle states that man is by nature a political animal. He believes that humans have an impulse towards a partnership with others because humans cannot flourish on their own. Happiness for humans requires that they form partnership with others. This resonates with what is happening in the country, with many of the view that it is linked in one way or the other to the resentment felt by those who lost out in the political game, who are trying to convince the average citizen that the present government has failed to secure the lives of its people. The issue of security played out starkly over the week with attacks on security installations in Owerri, Imo State, presenting another dimension. Indeed, some concerned watchers have urged the federal government to quickly detect where the attacks are coming from and deal with it, warning that the Boko Haram saga started quite like this in the northeast before snowballing into the seemingly untamable monster it has become. That is the question on the minds of citizens. What prompted this massive attack with superior weaponry on a prison and security installation? Is it a reprisal based on former incidents that was not appropriately treated? Why are the police and its installations now being targeted? Or are they sponsors of these attacks, and what do they hope to gain? This forms our area of focus this week on Politics on Sunday. I am Femi Akonde. The Easter message of the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan Kuka, actually set the ball rolling this week. Again, the fiery bishop had taken aim at the federal government, taking it to task on not being able to prevent intermittent attacks by Boko Haram, bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers, and other merchants of death across the nation. He spoke of a collective fear among Nigerians. He faulted the rehabilitation exercise for repentant Boko Haram members, while there was not a rehabilitation program for their victims. Two issues in his Easter homily prompted a fiery response from the presidency: his reference to Nigeria becoming a killing field and the absence of a rehabilitation program for those displaced by violence. In a statement, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, described Bishop Kuka's criticism of the Buhari administration as ungodly. Yet Bishop Kuka's words resonated following coordinated attacks by restive elements on security facilities in the early hours of Easter Monday. Unknown gunmen attacked the Nigerian Correctional Service and the police headquarters in Imo State, freeing more than 1,800 inmates. The correctional facilities were set ablaze. Also razed was the Imo State Police Command headquarters, with almost all the vehicles parked at the command's headquarters burnt. The gunmen were said to have operated from 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. and had sung solidarity songs at the government house roundabout for more than 30 minutes before attacking the facilities. Explosives and dynamites were used to break into the prison facility, but 6 inmates voluntarily returned to the facility, while 35 refused to escape. The attack on the command headquarters is the third attack in less than a month on police facilities in Imo State. Arms and ammunition are always scattered away in these attacks. President Muhammadu Buhari condemned the attacks, describing them as acts of terrorism. He directed all security and intelligence agencies to ensure the arrest and prosecution of all the perpetrators of the deadly attacks on both the Imo Police Command headquarters and the correctional facility in Owerri. The attacks had prompted an emergency security council meeting between the Imo State Governor Hope Uzorma and heads of security agencies in the state. The governor had described the attacks as the work of enemies of the state, suggesting political undertones. It was the incident that had taken the former Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, out of Abuja. He blamed the proscribed IPOB and the Eastern Security Network as being behind the attacks, disclosing that he had ordered the immediate deployment of additional units of mobile police force and other police tactical units to the state to strengthen security and prevent further attacks on security formations or any other critical national infrastructure. But whether his orders will be followed through is now another matter, as a new acting Inspector General of Police was announced when Adamu was on his way back to Abuja. He had about a month left in his initial 3-month extension added to his tenure. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and other federal government officials, including the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, had also visited the Imo State Police Command and the Correctional Service to inspect the level of damage done there. And shortly after the dignitaries left, unknown gunmen set ablaze the Ehime Mbano Local Government Area Divisional Police Headquarters in Imo State. And with it, 3 operational vehicles were burnt. We gathered that on arrival at the station, the gunmen operated unchallenged for more than 45 minutes and freed all suspects in detention before setting the police divisional headquarters ablaze. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra has denied any involvement in the attacks. But this is in stark contrast of a recent tweet by IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, who insisted that all prisoners in the country should be freed. And it raises grave questions about the seeming attack against authorities in the Southeast. How can this be brought to an end? Or who are those aggrieved, and do they reflect the mind of the people? How can the federal government address all issues of insecurity across the nation in a manner that is seen to be fair to all? This is the Vice President's second visit in 3 weeks. The first was to celebrate Governor Hope Uzodinma's 1 year in office. This time, Professor Yemi Osinbajo has come to inaugurate a 3 kilometers road that will enhance vehicular movement and connectivity within the metropolis. But this visit comes barely 24 hours after the violent attacks on the correctional facility and the headquarters of the police force in Owerri. The Vice President went to see firsthand the damage and destruction done by the group of gunmen he calls hoodlums. At the scene, the visiting VP saw operational vehicles of the Correctional Service and the police burnt down, buildings vandalized, and security officers whose morale has been dampened by the attack. Professor Osinbajo says this is an attack on the well-being and safety of the people.
When you attack institutions of law and order and law enforcement, it's evident that it's not an attack on just those institutions, it's an attack on the welfare and the well-being of the people, especially when you free prisoners and persons who may be dangerous to the community, dangerous to the people. When such a thing happens, it's an attack on the people themselves, which is why this is particularly atrocious and condemnable. As I said earlier, the government has already taken steps to enhance security here and in the correctional facility and in the states generally, and that's a continuing process.
At the inauguration of the 3 kilometers road, Governor Hope Uzodinma commended the people of the state, whom he says have endured many years of bad road infrastructure, and promised that development will trickle down to every corner of Imo State.
It is important to reiterate that a good number of the roads we have built have been abandoned by previous administrations for many years. Yet these roads are, practically speaking, the economic artery of our people. As a compassionate government, we did a need assessment when we assumed office 1 year ago. Thereafter, we decided to privatize these roads to save our people from the choking weight of the alarming infrastructural decay that was their cross before we came in.
Elated residents of the newly rehabilitated Tiger Street tell the Vice President how the road has made the area conducive, habitable, and valuable. The Hope Uzodinma administration's mandate is hinged on reconstruction, rehabilitation, and recovery. But the government will also have to contend with emerging security threats and find better ways to calm frayed nerves of secessionist agitators that are increasingly becoming more vocal in the Southeast. I spoke with Professor Protus Uzorma, and his responses were very revealing.
Well, the security situation in the Southeast is worrisome to everybody, whether you are a member of MOB or not. As long as you live in the Southeast and you do your business here, there is no way you will not be bothered and worried and troubled as a result of the development that the insecurity situation that has enveloped our system. It is indeed a development that is threatening the unity of the nation. It is a development that calls for concern. It is a development that is mind-boggling. It's a fearful one. The Southeast has been invaded. The Southeast is under siege. The Southeast live in fear. In fact, nobody knows the next line of action. So we all live in fear here in the Southeast. So the situation is worrisome. You see, it is obvious that all these things happen as a result of failure in leadership. It happens as a result of failure in leadership. And nepotism in leadership. Tribalism in leadership. A situation where I have always said it, and I will continue to say it. The federal government has a policy in the federal character to share powers equitable with all the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Look at the security architecture of this country, and you begin to ask yourself, are the Southeasterners truly part of this nation called Nigeria? Mention one person in terms of the formation of this security outfit architecture in Nigeria. We don't have nobody from the Southeast. So the situation is that the Igbos are not part of Nigeria. That is what I think they are telling us. That is the message they are passing across to us. Like it is said, we are not at war. In fact, I love what President General of Ohanes and Igbo said the other day. He said, Nigeria, the Igbo nation is not at war with Nigerian nation. That is the truth. But you see, the way we have been treated is very bad. It makes people like us very bilious. We feel very bilious. Bilious in the sense that we have been neglected, we have been humiliated, that is the practice of nepotism in this administration is telling us that, please, Buhari is telling Igbos, we don't need you. That is what it means. And from my own assessment, I said this because, let me say this, You see, when we talk about security should be in the hands of everybody. It's not only meant for those on uniforms. No. It's a general thing. But come to think of it, let's say there is a security meeting in the Southeast, top security meeting, called maybe by the leaders. The Commissioner of Police in the whole of the Southeast, they are either from Southwest or northern part of the country. The DSS, the same. The military, the same. And I think we have gotten to a point where some of our leaders at the House of Representatives and the hallowed red chambers, the Senate, should be able to come together, I mean those from the Southeast, and question these things. They should be able to come together and ask one single question. What wrong have we done in this country? Why are we being neglected and treated as if we are aliens in a nation that belongs to all of us? That's why we are talking of proper application of federalism, the restructuring of this country. Because if this country is restructured, I tell you, we'll be in charge of our own security. We'll be in charge of our security. Look at we're talking about police. Look at the formation. The Yorubas formed Omoteku. The Miatiala have their own security network. Everybody is forming their own security network. As I speak to you now, they are forming their own security, and it's out there. It's in the public domain. It's not a hidden thing. And yet, the Southeastern governors have not been able to come up with one security network to be able to assist those of us who don't carry arms. We don't have arms. But every day, the lives of people that are being killed on their way to the farms, on their way to different places, businesses and all that, in Igbo land, is worrisome. The governors are not part of the problem, they are the problem. But when you say part of the problem, it means that they are different from the problem. They are the problem. The governors we have in the Southeast are the major problems. Why did I say so? What does it take? The other day, I was at a meeting. We were part of that Southeast meeting where it was held in Owerri at the government house. So the Southeast governors were all there. And the chairman of Igbo Elders Council, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyang, gave 30 days for the Southeast governors to come up with a security network to be able to handle the dangling situation of security in Nigeria, in Igbo land. And we are watching to see the proper implementation of that instruction, having given that came rather from the chairman of Igbo Elders Council. The governors are not doing much. That's why I say they are the problem. What does it take to form a security network or adopt the Eastern Security Network? The Eastern Security Network that is already formed. Adopt it, reform it, and get these boys recruited and let them take charge of our community security and network with the police and the military. It takes the governors of the Southeast nothing to do that. But they must study the strategies, the formation of the network, the security network they must look at it, the psychological formation, and make some adjustments where necessary, and initiate them into what they want. The governors can do this. Southeast governors can do it. So why do they find it difficult to do? I don't know why. I don't know why. And I have problem with that. I have problem with that. You see, these attacks coming in sequence is to tell us that we don't have security, because we are told that these attacks were carried out by unknown gunmen. We don't know them, and we are relying on security agencies to come up with reports in order to enlighten us on the people who may have committed these acts. And I can't preempt investigation at the moment. I'm sure investigation is going on, but I want to say that such attack is worrisome. It's part of this security problem we're talking about. Such attack is something that I don't really know how to explain it. And if I tell you, like St. Augustine says, when he was asked to define time, he said, I know it when I'm not asked. But when I am asked to explain, I discover that I do not know it. Therefore, my brother, I do not know it. Thank you.
Nigeria, it seems, has reached a point when drastic measures are needed to understand and identify resentment among its various people, and also know those fueling these resentments. The present administration has described the sponsors as non-state actors, claiming to be acting on behalf of various ethnic nationalities. And it is also time to probe if indeed they have the mandate of the people. It is time for government to show itself impartial and to begin working for the best interest of all. Let's stop here for now. Join us next week when I bring you another issue of national discourse. I am Femi Akonde.